So today's video is a bit emotional for me because this is going to be my last desk setup tour in this space right here. So I've been at this place for about 3 years now, and I turned a bedroom, a conventional bedroom, into my workspace setup, my gaming setup. I don't really use the closet setup anymore because I kind of combined a gaming and a workspace setup together to make my current setup right now. So in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a final tour of the entire space, sharing with you guys everything that I've got in my desk setup, as well as going over why I have different things there for those of you guys that might be interested. Now, a lot of people have been asking me to do this video for a while, and I've been trying to get to it, but a lot of things have been happening, and I've been so busy over the last 3 months here. I wanted to do this at the beginning of the year, but yeah, I'm here. I'm doing it right now, and I'm happy that I get to do this before moving from where I'm currently at. I'm gonna kick things off by saying a few things about the slat wall behind the desk. So we put this one together as a DIY project when we first moved into this place as kind of an accent wall. We didn't want, it was just a white wall, like a massive white wall, which was kind of boring, and I didn't want to have shelves on there and a bunch of different things. So I decided, you know what, why not make something that's bold, something that's strong, something that makes a statement. So that's what we did there. We pretty much painted the wall black and then picked up these pieces of slats from Home Depot, stained them into a walnut, and we nailed them to the wall. It was actually pretty easy as a DIY project, and honestly, just time consuming. That's all it is. So if you have patience, you can do this stuff by yourself. It might even be cheaper than go to pick up those pre-built or pre-made ones, but that will definitely be a lot easier and faster to put up. For my chair and my desk combo, I'm currently using the Magnus Pro XL and the Titan Evo from Secret Lab. The Magnus Pro is an electric sit-stand desk that comes in 2 sizes. I've got the largest one, which works great for my space, especially right up against the massive slat wall. I've had it for a little over 6 months now, and it's been solid the entire time. It's had no issues holding up the weight of everything I have on it, whether that's in a sit-in or in a standing position. The entire body of the desk is made from metal, so it's quite heavy, but that also creates a lot of confidence in its durability. It only comes in black, but the top of the desk can be customized using one of Secret Lab's oversized desk mat add-ons. Besides the desk mat, there's a variety of other exclusive desk accessories and add-ons which can be picked up alongside the desk to personalize the space based on each person's needs. For me, I've got the PC mount holding up my rig at the bottom right underneath the desk. I've also got the LAN cable extender attached to the back of the right leg for clean Ethernet cable management. One of the best features of the desk is the cable management system that it uses. It comes with a large built-in cable management tray at the back, which spans across the entire length of the desk. This has been very convenient for hiding away cables as well as power adapters. The fact that the desk uses an all-metal design also makes it compatible with magnets, and I love that Secret Lab took advantage of that to create a growing ecosystem of magnetic accessories. Some of my favorites are the Mag RGB light strip and the headphone mount. Another great feature of the desk is its fully integrated power supply column. This means that all you have to do to power the desk and everything on it is connect the left leg to a power outlet. This in turn powers a receptacle that's been built right into the large cable tray for powering everything on the desk without the added clutter. Something else worth mentioning is that unlike most sit-stand desks, the Magnus Pro comes with an integrated control module that allows for precise control of the desk height. I find myself always alternating between sitting and standing desk positions to promote mobility in my body, so this has been a very useful feature for me. Finally, there's a power toggle on the module for deactivating any desk movements to prevent accidental button activations. So far, it's still the best sit-stand desk that I've ever used in terms of cable management. One thing to note is that the black color makes dust much easier to see on a desk, so I do plan on switching the desk mat that I have on there with a brighter color. The Titan Evo is up next, and this is an ergonomic gaming chair that complements the Magnus Pro very well. Just like the desk, it's also got some really nice features that make it stand out amongst a lot of desk chairs out there. There's a 4-way lumbar support system for the back, 4 directional swappable armrests, up to 165 degrees of recline, and my favorite, a magnetic pillow with memory foam inside of it. The armrests and the seat heights can also be adjusted to fit different needs. It comes in a variety of colors and styles, but I chose to get mine in all black with a nice fabric finish. The chair also has some pretty unique features that I've never seen anywhere, like an anti-counterfeit NFC tag to confirm validity and skins to customize the chair once you begin craving a different look. I mean, I haven't tried that yet, but I may try it out soon. For my workspace, I decided on a hybrid setup that combines a Windows desktop PC and a MacBook Pro laptop. Now, this is because I do a lot of things that require the use of both form factors, and each operating system also offers advantages which the other one does not. I use the 14-inch model of the M3 Max MacBook Pro in Space Black. It's a great combination of power and portability, which is great for working on the go. I bought the model with 48 gigabytes of unified RAM and a default storage capacity, which is 1 terabyte. Now, this is definitely not enough for the size and amount of files that I deal with on a daily basis, so I decided to improvise a bit. I went ahead and picked up an inexpensive SSD holder with a lock-in mechanism off Amazon. This allows me to easily attach and detach my SSD as needed. The SSD I use is a 4 terabyte Thunderbolt drive from SanDisk called G40. The transfer speed sending files between the drive and my Mac is absolutely insane. I pretty much store all of my videos on there and even edit videos directly off it. I've been mounting an SSD to my MacBook for years and never experienced any issues, so I will keep doing that as it keeps saving me money. Right now, I do most of my video editing on Final Cut Pro X, which is why I use a MacBook primarily for work. The software is restricted to Mac OS, which is understandable for the brand, but has been a compatibility issue for me for a while now. I recently started moving all my video editing to DaVinci's Resolve 2, which on the other hand works across both Mac and Windows OS. The basic version is free and still comes with a ton of features built into it. Overall, I love the MacBook Pro as a productivity machine, especially for on-the-go use. Whenever I'm at my desk, I'll usually have it docked in clamshell mode and connected to the entire setup through a single Thunderbolt cable. The vertical dock that I have the laptop sitting in is from GroveMade. It comes with a walnut exterior finish and a really soft felt interior material to help prevent scratches to the body of the laptop. I haven't always had a desktop PC at my desk until about 6 months ago when I decided to add one. It's a pre-built NZXT beast that's rocking an Intel i9 processor, an RTX 4090 GPU, 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and 2 terabytes of SSD storage. It's also got a really nice and modern aesthetic to it with a cool see-through glass design, which I really like. I have it at my desk as the main unit driving the entire setup, especially when the MacBook isn't docked. For productivity, it handles anything I throw at it with ease, and for gaming, it handles everyone I've tried without issues, allowing me to game at really high graphics and frame rates. It has a mixture of customizable RGB fans and liquid for cooling the system, and even when performing at high levels, this thing still doesn't get very loud. One of my favorite things about the liquid cooler is the little display it comes with, which can be customized through the NZXT Cam software. I love using it to keep tabs on the temperature of various things within the system. Adding a powerful rig to my desk setup has been the perfect complement to my MacBook Pro. If you're wondering why the PC isn't sitting on top of the desk, that's mainly because I wanted to save some space. I still think it looks clean at the bottom where cable management is also easier to do. I have the PC attached to the right column of the desk using the Secretlab PC mount add-on that I mentioned earlier. Now, this means that the PC moves with the desk every single time you raise or lower it, but it never sits directly on the ground, even at its lowest point. So far, I haven't had any issues with the mount holding up the PC, whether I'm using the desk in a sitting or a standing position. I multitask a lot, so I've always preferred having a lot of screen real estate at my desk. I use a dual monitor setup which combines a super-ultrawide and a portable monitor. 10 months ago, I switched to the 49-inch Odyssey OLED G9 from Samsung. My first ultra-wide was 34 inches wide, and then the next one was 40 inches wide. When I made the switch to a super-ultrawide, things started to finally feel right. The OLED G9 also has an 1800R curvature, which has been great for all of my different use cases. Particularly, I use the monitor as a hybrid for work and gaming, so a curve that's not too sharp works best for me. The monitor is very light and has a super slim profile as you would expect from anything sporting an OLED panel. This made it easy for me to set it up and has also made it easy for me to manage single-handedly. Having an OLED panel also means it comes with extremely accurate colors, with blacks being truly that, and vibrancy that's so hard to beat. This has been beneficial for video editing and for gaming. As for general specs, the monitor is a 5K monitor with a maximum resolution of 5120 by 1440. It's also got a max refresh rate of 240 Hz and HDR support, which is great. Something else worth mentioning is that it comes with Samsung's TV OS built right into it, but this is not something I ever use. For productivity, the monitor has multi-view mode, which I find to be very useful whenever I need to use my MacBook and my Windows PC at the same time. It essentially splits the monitor into two equal halves, allowing each one to accept a different input source. It's like having two QHD monitors sitting side by side without the ugly bezels in between them. It does come with some limitations, like for example, HDR mode cannot be used by any input source in this mode, and the refresh rate is capped at 120 Hz on each display. For me, I find that it's a very useful feature, which I happen to use quite often. Switching to a super ultra wide has definitely added value to my entire workflow. And it's also been a lot of fun to game on since it provides a really unique aspect ratio, which I tend not to be able to find elsewhere. Something important I noticed during my time using the OLED G9 is that around the center of the screen, it heats up after prolonged use to where there's a burning sensation to the touch. I just haven't noticed any negative impact from this, so I haven't had any reason to worry yet. I just thought I'd share something like that for anyone considering picking one up. I've got the Windows PC connected directly to one of the two HDMI ports on it, and my MacBook connected to the single display port through my docking station. I either use the monitor in full screen mode with either system or in multi-view mode with both at the same time. The monitor is being held up by a desk arm I picked up on Amazon over a year ago. It's from a brand called Vivo and has had no issues in holding up the OLED G9 ever since I've had it. It's just a tad bit too bulky, and I would prefer if it was more streamlined and minimal. The arm is fully adjustable with tilt, swivel, rotation, and height adjustment using a smooth pneumatic spring lift system. It's worked really well for me, but I will be replacing it very soon with Secret Labs heavy duty arm. Now, the main reason for that is better compatibility with the MacBook Pro desk. Now, sitting on top of the monitor is the Screen Bar Halo from BenQ. It uses a wireless control knob with a hover feature for brightness and light temperature adjustments. You can also set the light to auto from here, making it set the lighting based on the ambiance in the room. It's honestly the only way I use it, as I pretty much like to set it and forget it. There's only one cable coming from the light to power it, and the control knob uses 3 AAA batteries for power. A desk light definitely isn't mandatory for me to be productive, but I find that it helps when working in the dark or at night, which I do quite often. Right next to the light is my webcam. This one's called Insta360 Link, and it's definitely been slightly overkill for my use case, which is mainly to take video calls at my desk. The half-inch sensor inside it produces a really nice and crispy image quality up to a 4K maximum. As for how it works, it uses a unique 3-axis gimbal system and AI software to allow things like subject tracking, gesture control, and much more. One of my favorite gestures to use is palm, which enables auto tracking to keep me in focus at all times. It also does pretty well in dimly lit spaces, and I use it a lot with just ambient lighting turned on in my office. I have a second monitor below the OLED G9 for all my non-essentials like music, emails, and what have you. It comes in very handy, especially when the main display is fully occupied, which, believe it or not, happens quite often. It's called Model O from UPerfect and has a 15.6-inch OLED display with a 4K maximum resolution and 60 Hz of maximum refresh rate. The monitor has touchscreen functionality as well, which I would say works decently well. I'm also glad that the OLED display it uses is a close match to the G9 above it. I wouldn't say they're exactly the same, but they both have some pretty amazing glossy screens. The Model O also has a unique built-in battery, which also makes it great for use when on the move. I've got 2 USB Type-C cables connected to it by way of angled adapters for a much cleaner look. One cable provides video transmission from the MacBook, the other is to provide power or charge the built-in battery. The monitor is sitting on a walnut stand similar to the MacBooks, but this one was designed to hold up items shaped like a tablet. So far, it's done a great job of holding up the Model O, keeping the desk area pretty clean and tidy. The dual OLED monitor setup of a super ultra wide and a portable monitor has been my favorite so far. Both monitors have been the perfect complement to each other since I started using the combo. To the right of the Model O, there's a Thunderbolt docking station. This is pretty much what connects everything at the desk together, allowing the MacBook Pro to gain new abilities through a single cable. It's a Thunderbolt dock that comes equipped with a total of 10 ports, most of which are located on the backside. The 10G port was my main motivation behind getting this, as I have my desk connected to a DIY NAS server that I built and placed in my basement. As a video creator, storage is probably one of the most important things you need, and I've got access to over 50 terabytes through my NAS server. The dock at my desk enables me to access that server quickly through that wired 10G connection. The Thunderbolt ports on the dock each provide 85 watts and 15 watts of power delivery, respectively. I have my MacBook connected to the 85 watt port and the portable monitor connected to the 15 watt port. I like that I'm always able to keep both devices fully charged whenever I'm at my desk because of this. The dock has no HDMI ports and only one display port, which I have connected to the 49-inch. I then extend the video transmission from there towards the portable monitor using the 15 watt Thunderbolt 4 port. This is how I have the Mac displaying on both monitors. The Thunderbolt Pro dock certainly isn't my favorite both functionally and aesthetically, but there's not many out there with the 10G Ethernet port built into them, hence why I have it. The monitorizer I have on my desk is definitely one of a kind. It has a unibody design, dark gray finish all over, and a boxy shape that makes it such a great fit for the all-black Magnus Pro. It's called Hexcal Studio, and this thing is not cheap, but it's packed with the most amount of features that I've ever seen in a monitorizer. It's been about 5 months now since I've had it at my desk, and so far, it's held up mostly well. It's approximately 47 inches wide, which is perfect as it matches the Super-ultrawide monitor very closely. It comes with an abundance of built-in ports, pretty much eliminating the need for an extension box at my desk. There's 8 receptacles, 2 USB bridging ports, 1 Type-C, and 1 Type-A quick charge port. Right now, I only have the OLED G9 connected to one of its receptacles, but I also make use of the USB ports on it for charging devices on my desk. The Studio also has a built-in chamber similar to the Magnus Pro for storing large power adapters and hiding away cables. For even more cable management, it's also got a 3D cord organizer with 12 channels along the back. 2 other features of note are the key wireless charger built into the left side and the front LED light strip for illuminating the desk area. The wireless charger works for both iPhones and Androids, so as long as the phone supports key wireless charging, the Studio can charge it. Now, I don't know if I received 11, but so far, the wireless charger has been pretty much useless to me. It charges very slowly and my phone gets very hot after charging only for a short period of time. I also noticed that it stops charging at some point for some reason I haven't been able to decipher yet. In essence, I find myself not using this feature as much as I would have liked to. The front light strip comes with controls for power, brightness, color temperature, illumination range, and a button to tie to your favorite preset. The strip can be set between different levels from cool all the way to warm lighting, but sadly, there's no RGB. There's also no app or software control available for it, which honestly I truly expected from something with this price tag. I won't recommend getting something like this unless you can look past the issues that I've just described or have the extra cash to spend on its design and its other features. Picking up a desk like the Magnus Pro alone is good enough to where the Hexcal Studio is almost redundant. My main productivity pair is one I've been using for a few years now. I've got the full-size MX Mechanical and the MX Master 3S, both from Logitech in gray and white respectively. The MX Mechanical remains one of the best office keyboards I've ever used, and this is after using it for a few years. It has so many great features that easily make it one of the best office keyboards out there. I use it mainly for video editing and general office work, and it's been great for both use cases. I'll admit that I don't use all of its features, but I'm happy to have them there for times when I may need to. I got mine with blue switches, so it makes a very clicky sound when being typed on, and honestly, I have no problems with that. It can be used both wirelessly and through a wired connection. The wireless mode uses Bluetooth protocol and can have up to 3 devices connected to it at the same time. There's 3 buttons on the keyboard for quickly switching between all 3 devices for convenience. I have my MacBook tied to the first button and my PC tied to the second for easy switching between the 2. The MX Master 3S is also a top tier device for productivity. It's got some really useful features just like the keyboard. One of my favorites is the thumb scroll wheel, which I use for vertical scrolling while editing my videos.
I still haven't found a better mouse for the kind of work that I do, so I'm sticking with the MX Master line until then. The 3S also has a button underneath it for quickly switching between 3 paired devices, and I've set it up exactly like the keyboard, with 1 tied to the MacBook and 2 to my monitor. Now, when gaming, I try not to use this pair as they aren't really optimized for that. Instead, I either use a PS5 controller or a gaming keyboard and mouse combo. For the controller, I customized it with a touch of walnut and keep it stored on a pegboard away from the desk in order to avoid clutter. The gaming keyboard and mouse combo are from Logitech's gaming line, so they both use Lightning USB dongles for near zero latency. I also keep both of these on the pegboard wall storage when they're not in use. I use a wrist rest with my mouse to help maintain proper posture whenever I'm using it. I got a white minimal one off Amazon to complement the mouse, and I think it looks great. It also works great and slides across the desk alongside the mouse with ease. My desk speakers aren't anything special, but they work well enough for what they are. They're called Kanto YU2 and super compact and only 6 inches tall. They also come in a matte white finish, which is great as it helps in adding white accents to my desk. After using them for a few months, I can honestly tell you guys right now that they sound great and a whole lot better than one would expect. They can be connected to external devices through a 3.5mm audio jack or through a USB cable. I use a USB modem connection to hook it up to my docking station, which then ports it to my MacBook whenever it's docked. I've got them sitting on a pair of stands in walnut and black from a company called Balolo. These not only raise the height of the speakers closer to ear level, they also add to the general aesthetics of the entire space. The only thing I don't like about them is the blue light on the bottom right corner of the right speaker, which unfortunately cannot be turned off. When I'm not using the external speakers, I'm using my headset. At the desk, I have the WH-1000XM5 from Sony, and they're great in a lot of ways except how they're named. They have all the usual features you'd expect from a premium headset like active and passive noise cancellation, premium sound quality, and long-lasting battery life. It's got invisible controls built into the exterior of one of the air cups, as well as buttons and a USB-C charging port located along the edges of both. For more advanced controls and fine-tuning, there's also a smartphone app which can be downloaded from both Android and iOS stores. Something I really like about it is how little it weighs, and this is great for times when I have it on for long stretches of time. It comes in a few color options, but personally, I like the matte black, especially to match my desk for a stealthy appearance. I've also got it hanging off the Secret Lab headset mount underneath to the left of the desk. It uses some really strong magnets to stay attached to the desk, meaning that it can be mounted onto various parts of it. The mount does a great job of keeping my headset out of the way while still within arm's reach. As for the mic that I use, I've got the same Shure SM7B I've had for about 3 years now. Like the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? The SM7B hasn't disappointed me yet, so I'm still using it. I love the sound quality you get from it and how clean it makes all my voiceover sound, like this one for example. It is an XLR mic, so it requires an audio interface or something similar in order to work. I use the Scarlett 2i2, which is something I've had since before I can remember, and honestly, I can't believe it still works. You're also going to need a mic booster with the SM7B to get the most out of it, since it is naturally a low output mic. I've got it mounted onto the low profile wave mic arm from Elgato. I love that it uses a pull-in style as opposed to the usual overhead style, which wouldn't have worked for a setup like mine with a super-ultra-wide. It also does a great job of holding up the SM7B and comes with built-in cable pathways for hiding the XLR cable. The last thing on the desk to the far right is a white HomePod mini, which I honestly do not use anymore, so I'm probably going to exclude it from my next space. Under the desk to the left, I have a small 5-liter trash can. I wanted one with a matte black finish and a soft close lid, and this fit the bill perfectly. It uses a step mechanism for opening up, which is super convenient for someone who's using it at a desk area. I love that it's really minimal to where it takes up only a small amount of space under the desk. It also comes with a removable inner bucket and built-in storage for replacement bags, which are little things that I've now grown to appreciate with time. Also under the desk there is my footrest from Secret Lab. This is one of those things that I never thought I needed, but now it brings so much joy to my feet. It's shaped nicely and stuffed with memory foam, so you know it feels good as hell on the feet. On the right side of the desk area, I've got a Dyson cool fan and purifier combo. It's a bladeless fan, which means it uses air multiplier technology to create powerful streams of super smooth airflow. Granted, the fan function is mainly what I use it for. I still like that it's got a HEPA filter system for purifying the air in the room as well. I love how quiet it is, especially at lower speeds, which is great for a workspace setting. Finally, it comes with a small remote for manual operation, which can be stored away on top of a light magnetic area on top of the fan.
Okay, so for lighting and decor pieces, on the left side of the desk, I've got the Nanoleaf elements, which I've had for, I can't even remember how long now, but I've pretty much had them since I've put the space together, and they're still kicking. They work really well for adding a bit of ambience to the room, especially when the room is dark or at night, so I really like them. I've also got the iPhone 4S and iPhone 10 framed up there. So I got one from a company called X-Re-Art, and I got the other one from Grid Studio CC, I think 2 years ago. So it's been a while since those have been there. I've also got 2 artificial plants on either side of the frames there, and they're all sitting on a shelf I picked up from IKEA and just mounted up there. So directly to the left of the desk, I've got an IKEA Alex drawer for storage, and I've got 1 plant just sitting directly on it. So the Alex drawer is something I've had for a while. I've moved it around through different formations of my setup, and honestly, it's underrated. On the right side of the desk, I've got a 7-foot plant that's, of course, also artificial for easy maintenance, and yeah, it looks amazing. I've had that one for a while as well, just like the other ones, and there's no reason to take them out. Inside the plant, I've got a little tube light there, as you can see. So it's just to kind of create some contrast so the whole thing doesn't just disappear into the darkness. Okay, so there you have it. It's the end of an era for me, at least for my desk setup in this build. So I've just bought a new place and we'll be moving my entire desk setup and my studio over there. So I can't wait to show you guys a tour of the empty house, as well as all the different plans that I've got for this space. And if you've been rocking with me for a while and are still rocking with me, then I can promise that you're going to enjoy the content that I've got planned coming up. Thanks as always for watching this video and watching any of my videos. You guys are real ones out there, the ones that actually support me, that is. I appreciate you all, and I will catch you guys at the new crib or in my next video.